Every day, each one of us presses a button. What button am I talking about, you're wondering? It's not the button on your iPhone, a button on your keyboard or the TV remote control. It's the flush button. We all press it, don't we? Without a second thought about what happens next. But sometimes what happens next is very serious, catastrophic even. From the backflow that could flood out your bathroom, there's no picture of that because we're just about to have lunch, to the car that can end up in a sinkhole because the sewer collapses underneath it, through to the environmental damage of when waterways and areas are flooded by sewage, and the disease that results as a result of that. Catastrophic consequences. Well, what can be done about that, and why does it actually happen in the first place? There's a number of reasons why it happens. Firstly, these sewers, many of them are quite old, older than anyone else in the room. But there's other reasons. Earthquakes can damage them, tree roots can infiltrate them. But for the millions of kilometres of concrete sewers around the world, they have one specific problem. Microbes within the sewerage actually generate sulfuric acid, which eats away at the concrete, turning it into gypsum. Gypsum, we use it all the time as chalk, or it's plasterboard on walls, much softer than concrete. The structural integrity is just not there anymore. And what can happen? Well, in particular, that's where we get these collapses occurring. But the major problem with it is, when we send our robots through and we look at the inside of the sewers, CCTV, they look the same. We can't tell that there's something wrong, even though the sewer might be imminently about to collapse. So what do? Well, think about how we measure if something's hard or not. Imagine I had a piece of jelly in my hand. From our childhood, we know that's quite soft. But what if it's not jelly? What if it's a solid piece of acrylic? How do we know whether it's hard or soft? The easiest way is to touch it and find out. We'll quickly find out if it's spongy or soft or if it's hard. We can do the same thing with these sewers. You can take a pen, someone else's pen, and you can actually push it straight into the sewer and it will stop when it hits the hard concrete behind that soft gypsum layer that's corroded away. So what have we done? We've partnered with IWN, Intelligent Water Networks, a consortium of 17 water networks across Victoria, and having partnered with them, we've worked specifically with 5 different water authorities. We've built 2 robots. We call them 3PR, the Pipe Probe Penetration Robot, and SAPR, the Sewer Access Point Penetration Review Robot. Our naming department has gone overboard with these. To develop 2 robots that we can test sewer access points and the actual sewer pipes. These waterproof robots, they go into the pipes, they send us back all sorts of data about what's happening, visual data, but also probing data. They put their probe and probe the inner area of the sewer and tell us how much penetration you can actually get into that sewer and how much force you're applying to get that penetration. In doing so, they use what's called a load cell. It's a sort of a fancy version of what's in your bathroom scales to measure how much force you're applying, and can tell the sewer authorities what's going on, give them a picture that goes beyond the picture, but tells them how the structural integrity of this concrete and how it's going to hold up. Why is that important? Smaller sewer authorities, like Western Water, who we've been dealing with, have over 1,100 kilometres of sewer pipe. These sewer pipes, particularly the larger size ones, cost over $2,000 a metre to remediate or replace. That's a huge amount of money, and they can't just do the lot. So they need to prioritise and work out what is in most need of replacement. After all, you're actually funding it in your water bill. You're funding the replacement and remediation and repair of these things so we don't have these water outbreaks of sewage and we don't have sewer pipes collapsing underneath people's roads. So, next time you press the button, spare a thought for what happens next. The thousands of kilometres of sewer pipe that are attached to your toilet and how we're going to keep that in good condition and keep everyone safe. Thanks very much.